wonder if we're tired of code switching. When they say Kendrick is for the culture, he most certainly is. When it comes to Drake, there's a lot of question marks. So I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to break this down in a way that I don't think I've heard anyone break this down. And this can pertain to people who are working jobs and they may have seen this in the workplace. And this is where we're going to bring this into a space of code switching. Kendrick reminds me of the employee who comes into work every day, works hard. Everyone knows that he is the slogan. He is the mission statement. He is everything that embodies the position which he has. No one would ever question his leadership, his ability to come into work each and every day, his dependability, her reliability. He's always at the top, always getting bonuses. And he also gets mid-level recognition when it comes to the company. But when it came to advancing within the company, he always passed on those jobs. They always wanted to bump him up, but he decided, no, I got to stay down. You know, I feel comfortable being in a certain space on a certain wavelength. Then on the other hand, you would have someone like Drake. Drake would be the person who kind of who kind of finagled his way to the top. He got there by being nice to the right people at the right time and was able to have certain conversations, and he became real buddy and really chummy with the individuals that were going to put him on the highest pedestal. So he ascended to the top of the ladder very quickly. But while he was at the top, he realized that the people at the top weren't as buddy as he thought. And that's because they knew that the way that he got there was just because of who he knew. Those people knew that they put him in that position. So then one day, Kendrick, the employee, comes to work and says, you know what? I'm tired of watching someone else be a representation of, let's say, for example, non-exempt employees. I'm going to take this leadership role and I'm going to be the leader that the non-exempt employees look at. I'm going to actually take that exempt role. I'm going to go into this space and I want to show you exactly how you make the transition from being a non-exempt employee into a regular, I'm sorry, from a non-exempt employee into an exempt employee. And when Kendrick does that, he automatically will gain the respect of the people because he came up with those people in that non-exempt role. He didn't walk into the job kissing babies and shaking hands and making sure that he was at the right business resource group and he made sure that he did the correct networking. And then once he got to a certain point, he plateaued. So then to take it one step further, what I also then believe is because of some of the things and situations that happened, Drake abused his power at the top. That was like that same employee who then starts messing around with the women at work, starts to think that he's bigger than the job, bigger than the position. And then what happens is that person then gets fired and then gets mad when things aren't going his way. That's what I believe the Drake situation reminds me of in a workplace setting. On the other hand, as Kendrick has come up and he's earned the respect of all the non-exempt employees, and then now he is the exempt employee, and that he knows that he has the respect of all of his peers and everyone else around him. Then when he's getting elevated to astronomical heights, the guy that got fired then turns around and says, you only got that job because I was fired. Not truly realizing how he was able to really earn this position from the ground up. Now, I'm not saying that the Drake in this situation didn't earn it all the way from the ground up. Again, he went to school, he applied, he got the job fair and square, but he did the extra things that Kendrick or the at the time that singular non-exempt employee didn't do. Kendrick did. He did all those things. So I'm only saying that to say this because everything to me is relative. I believe that in some of these spaces that we see these actors or some of these situations, we can relate to because I think subconsciously we've seen these things happen and unfold right in front of our eyes. We've seen the versions of Drake and Kendrick in our workplace. At least I have. I have been Drake and Kendrick at certain jobs. I've been the guy who went to the certain resource groups, shook hands, got all the way to the top, and then realized when I got stoned, when they no longer invited me to golf outings, and I found myself very, very alone. What happened? That's because they were tired of the code switching. They realized that really I was still the non-exempt employee, but I was trying to act like I wasn't. Then I turned around and then I came up through the ranks of being a non-exempt employee. And then I went ahead and got to other levels of success. And then I realized I earned more respect doing it that way. And then I was able to maximize on tons of other opportunities because the respect was earned because I started off as non-exempt, then I went to exempt, then I got to executive leadership team and things along those lines. I went ahead and made sure I earned the respect versus I tried it the other way. And I realized that I got to that same point, but unfortunately, the house was built on sand.